It all started with a dream. Kofi, a young man from a small village, always had one passion: music. He would sing from morning till night, his voice filling the air with hope, love, and the dreams of a better life. People admired his talent, but no matter how hard he tried, Kofi couldn't catch a break. He performed at small gatherings, hoping someone would notice, but fame never came. One cold evening, after yet another failed performance, Kofi sat by the river, staring at the moon, wondering if his dreams would ever come true. As he sat there, a mysterious figure approached him, a man with dark, piercing eyes and a presence that chilled the air. The man smiled at Kofi, speaking softly but with a power that could not be ignored. "You want fame, don't you?" the man asked. Kofi, though confused and slightly afraid, nodded. He had wanted nothing more than to be heard by the world, to have his music touch the hearts of millions. The man then made him an offer that seemed too good to be true. "I can give you everything you desire. Fame, fortune, and a voice that no one can forget. In exchange, you must give me something very small: control over your songs." Kofi hesitated but couldn't resist the temptation. In his heart, he believed this was his only chance. With a handshake, the deal was made. At first, everything seemed perfect. Kofi's voice, which had once been beautiful, became something otherworldly. When he sang, people would stop and listen, spellbound by every note. His song spread like wildfire across the city, and soon enough, record labels came calling. His rise to fame was faster than anyone could imagine. He performed at bigger and bigger venues. Crowds of thousands gathered to hear his voice. But then, the strange incidents began. At one of his concerts, a man in the audience collapsed and died. It was tragic, but people thought it was an accident. Kofi tried to shake it off, but the deaths didn't stop. At his next show, a woman fell ill and died before the night was over. With each new performance, more people suffered the same fate. Kofi was horrified, but at first, he tried to convince himself that it wasn't connected to his music. "It can't be," he thought. But deep down, he knew something was terribly wrong. His once joyful songs now carried a darkness, an energy that couldn't be explained. He remembered the deal he made that night by the river. He hadn't just been given fame, he had been cursed. The more he sang, the more the spirit he'd made the deal with fed off the lives of those who listened. Kofi was trapped in a nightmare. His dream had turned into a living horror. But there was no turning back. The spirit controlled his voice, his songs, and with every performance, more lives were taken. He tried to stop singing, to walk away from the stage, but the curse wouldn't let him. The more he resisted, the stronger the pull became. His manager, unaware of the curse, pushed him to perform more, telling him how loved he was by the fans. The spirit, too, whispered in his ear, reminding him of the fame he now had, fame that came at a terrible price. Kofi found himself standing before thousands of fans, his heart pounding, knowing that every note he sang would bring death. But the crowd cheered, eager to hear his voice. They didn't know that by loving his music, they were sealing their own fates. "I can't stop. If I do, everything I've worked for will be gone." Kofi's thoughts haunted him day and night. The guilt of what his music had become tore at his soul. He tried to warn people, to cancel shows, but no one listened. The fame, the lights, the love of the crowd, it was too strong. But then, one night, something unexpected happened. A young girl, barely in her teens, came to one of his shows. She had been a fan for years, and her dream was to meet Kofi in person. As she stood near the front of the stage, Kofi noticed her. For a moment, he hesitated, feeling an overwhelming sense of dread. He tried to stop singing, but it was too late. His voice took control, and he sang a note so powerful that it sent chills down everyone's spine. In the middle of the song, the girl collapsed. Kofi's world came crashing down. He ran off the stage, not caring about the show, and rushed to the girl's side. She was barely breathing. The paramedics arrived, but it was clear that she wasn't going to make it. This was the breaking point for Kofi. He couldn't take it anymore. The spirit had promised him everything he ever wanted, but now all he had was blood on his hands. He needed to find a way out of this nightmare. Desperate for answers, Kofi returned to the place where he made the deal, the same river, the same moonlit night. He called out to the spirit, demanding an explanation. "You wanted fame, and I gave it to you," the spirit said, appearing before him once more. "But every gift comes with a price." Kofi begged to be released from the curse, but the spirit only laughed. "You are bound to your music now. As long as people love your voice, they would die for it. There is no escape." But Kofi refused to accept his fate. He searched for a way to break the curse, visiting old shamans and wise men, looking for someone who could help him. Finally, he found an elder who told him the only way to break the curse was to sacrifice his fame. He would have to disappear, never sing again, and fade from the memory of his fans. It was a hard decision. Kofi had worked so hard to reach the top, but now he had to let it all go to save innocent lives. In a final act of defiance, Kofi walked away from the music industry. He vanished without a trace, leaving fans confused and heartbroken. His songs were erased from the radio, his name forgotten in the music world. But for Kofi, this was the only way to stop the curse from taking more lives. Now, he lives in the shadows, haunted by the memories of the lives his music claimed. The world no longer remembers Kofi, the famous singer, but the spirit still lingers, waiting, watching, in case Kofi ever decides to sing again.
Thank you for watching. Do well to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more.